Welcome back to the Small But Mighty Dragon. In this video we're going to be adding the decoration to the tail. You'll need the same crochet hook that you've been using all along and your blunt end yarn needle. Alright guys, I'm going to give you some options, and I brought in an Aria the Dragon to show you an example. Her color in person is absolutely gorgeous, but her color is so fantastic it makes the camera go a little crazy, so you're probably not seeing what I'm seeing on my table. Anyway, this is about the spikes on the back. There's some options here. In the next clip I'm going to show you how to add the ridge first, and that's with the same color as the tail. So you crochet a little ridge there, and that just gives me extra tall spikes. But if you don't care about tall spikes, you can crochet the alternate color right onto the tail. That way you could sew the tail to the body first, and then insert your color and crochet up the tail and up the back. That might be way easier for some of you. So there's some options for you. I want you to enjoy this part. I don't want this part to cause you any stress. I think it's fun to add spikes and stuff like that, but if it gets a little bit stressful, then that sucks the fun out of it. So you decide what you want to do with that part. Now that you have your options, those of you who are staying around for this decoration here, then you just keep watching this video. Those of you who are just interested in sewing the tail to the dragon and then crocheting some decoration after that, then you'll go to the sewing video, and that's right here. I like to make a little ridge on top of the tail to work on, and we do that using the same color as the tail. Insert my hook through the end of the tail, through the top part, just like that, and I'm going to pull the yarn through. And chain one. Now I'm going to single crochet in a line going up the tail. I'm going to hold the starting yarn tail along the edge. I'm going to crochet around it so I don't have to weave it in at the end. So go into the next space, push your hook through, grab your yarn and pull it through, and single crochet. Once you get a few stitches in, then you can just cut that starting yarn tail free. Careful not to cut any of your working yarn. Okay, once you get to the last one, just finish off, and we're going to weave this yarn tail in. So I'm going to take this yarn tail and I go back down into the tail. I'll just bring it through that ridge, and then I'll go down into the tail. And I'll just pull it through, and I can cut it up shorter. And there's my ridge. That makes a nice surface for me to work on putting these spikes in. So now let's do the spikes. In the next couple of clips I'm going to show you how to add the decoration and then put the spikes on top of the ridge. You can sew this to the dragon first before doing any decoration, then you can continue the decoration up the back of the dragon. The reason why I didn't do it that way is because I found it so awkward to hang on to, especially when I did these taller ones here. It was just so much easier to do it when the tail was free from stuffing, and I could just crunch up the tail and work in it that way. You just do what's easiest for you, what's best for you. Either way is fine. There's no wrong way to do this. Alright guys, in the next clip we will add the decoration, the first decoration, to the top of the ridge. Now we're going to insert our hook again and pull through the alternate color. I'm going to go right here. In the pattern it says go through the first stitch, but it doesn't matter. I just noticed I went a little bit too high there, but no worries, it's not going to upset anything. So I'm just going to pull that through and chain one. I'm going to put 2 half double crochets into that first stitch. So yarn over and go through, pull the yarn through, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Now do that again in the same space. Slip stitch the next 2 stitches. Chain 2, 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So yarn over, you have 3 loops on your hook, pull the yarn through the first 2, and pull through the last 2. Now make another one in the same stitch, yarn over, pull through the first 2, pull through the last 2. Slip stitch the next 2 stitches, and chain 2, and then just repeat 2 double crochet, slip stitch the next 2, chain 2, 2 double crochet, slip stitch the next 2, chain 2, and onwards. Alright, I'm coming to the end, and you can see my bridge, there's only 3 stitches left to work in. I'm going to be slip stitching these next 2, so I'll have to put a double crochet in here. And don't worry if that happens to you. I know the pattern says to slip stitch the last stitch on this row, but it's okay, it's going to work out. It all depends on how many stitches you put in going up the tail. Yeah, it's not a big deal. I'm going to chain 2. I'm just going to slip stitch that last one and finish off. So that finished off a little bit different than the pattern, but that's totally okay. Like I said, you can get creative with this part and do a totally different thing going up the tail. You don't have to do it this way at all. Now we can weave in those yarn tails. So I think that decoration looks great as it is. We don't even have to do anything more to it. And you would just sew this to the back and then continue the same thing up the back of the dragon, which we'll get to in the next video. But if you want to add these spikes, like this one here, then we're going to take it one step further and insert the alternate color again. This time we're going to go in the first stitch right here and chain 1. Now single crochet into the next stitch, and from here chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to single crochet into the bottom of that chain. Now we're going to skip this stitch here and we're going to slip stitch into the next one. So right in the bottom there. You're going to have to push your hook through. Might have to work at it. Pull the yarn through and pull through that loop. There we go. And there's our first spike. Okay, skip that one and single crochet into the next one. Chain 3. And now single crochet into the bottom of that chain. Skip that stitch and slip stitch the next one. Skip all together down here and then single crochet into the next one. Chain 3. Single crochet into the bottom of that chain. Okay, skip that one and slip stitch into the next one. Okay, and now you skip here and then single crochet and chain 3 and keep repeating until you've got those pointy stitches all across the top of those double crochets. Okay, now you just have to weave in the yarn tails. This one is already knotted off, so we just have to weave it in. And the end one, you might want to knot it off first and then weave it in. Okay, now you can decide, do you want a decoration on the end of the tail? You can totally leave it the way it is. Absolutely. Pull the yarn through. Chain 1. Then I'm going to single crochet in the same space. Chain 3, single crochet into the bottom of that chain. Okay, and then I'll slip stitch right here in front and finish off. Okay, just a little spike there, and I'll just bring this through to the other side and the other one as well. Okay, so now we're going to sew this to the end of the tail. And that is very simple. Just going to bring our needle through the end of the tail. Okay, and I'll go on the other side, top to bottom. Okay, I'll put one under here. It's almost done already. And do one on the other side. So I like that little space there. This one doesn't have it. See, I connected these two. You could insert your yarn and do a single crochet into here, maybe a half double crochet, and then single crochet across to connect those, if you wanted to connect them. I think it looks pretty cool the way it is. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this video. In the next one, we'll sew the tail to the body. That video should be popping up on your screen. Click that little box, and I'll meet you over there.